Do you plan on selling the ABKC? That was one of the big things that came up.
You know,
You're
people,
going to sell the ABKC.
the ABKC is something that's not even me. This is what people don't understand. Everybody wants to put Dave, 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 Dave. I am a person that was part of creating the ABKC. It was a concept that I had a big say in. And for many years, which if you want to get into later on too, we could talk about the history of the ABKC.
Yeah,
Um,
that's actually why I brought this up now, so we
uh,
can get into leading into the history of
all right,
the
well, let's
ABKC.
tackle that subject of
Yeah,
selling. Then
let's get into it.
we can revert back to that. So it's not a Dave Wilson thing, man. And when we get into the operations of it and the history of it, people will finally realize that, oh wait, this really isn't Dave Wilson, you know. So it doesn't matter if I wanted to sell anything. I don't want to sell anything, and there's nothing to sell. It's something that it's set up in a way that it works for the community, and it's not a Dave Wilson owned thing. You know, it doesn't work out that way. This is a corporation, so it's not something that I could even, as a person, say, hey, I want to sell it, and let's sell it. It doesn't even work that way. So it couldn't even happen like that. So no. Not to mention, there's a lot of things about this that I've had over the years. I've been through every stage of this from the beginning to end, and I've been through many things, and there's a lot of things that we could talk about, personal slander, some things that people, you know, I want to get into those things too, because I really want the truth to be put out about who I am and what's real and what's not real. However, just to let you all know, there's been times in this thing that I've lost my way. You know, I've fallen into greed, I've fallen into false egos, I've fallen into all these different things throughout the play of this American Bully thing. You know, it's gone up and it's gone down. But what I've learned throughout this whole thing is there's not many people that are going to do something solely because of what that something is. Many people do things for themselves, for some other type of monetary reason, for an ego type reason, or maybe they just feel like they think like they know what's best, you know, and they have this one track vision of something. But all these different things, and I've been through all of these things on my own, and what I've learned is you can't really find somebody that's just going to do this for what it was meant to be done for, just for this breed and for the community, to take away the self reasons for it, the monetary reasons for it. Those are things that I'm involved in. I'm not in this for the monetary reasons. Zeb, you've been to my house now quite a few times.
Quite a few times.
I don't live in a mansion. I'm not driving fancy cars. Like, I could be breeding dogs and selling dogs for these high amounts of dollars and all these things, but I don't. It's never been like my thing. You know what I mean? And even ABKC, like, the monetary side of something like that hasn't been my thing. Like, I don't pull from that type of a company, and I don't live a lavish life, and I don't, because I really want it to be for what it really is about. So to try to sell that to somebody and find another person that has that same type of a vision and will really do something for the people, the community, and the breeds is very difficult. So it's not even something that I don't think you can find a buyer that wants to spend that kind of money and still keep it grassroots like it really was meant to be, you know? Nor is it something that I could do myself or make a decision to do something, because it's a corporation.
Because everybody say it falls on you with the ABKC, how many people are involved with the process of the decision making at the office?
It's completely different levels. The office is a separate entity from everything else. The office deals with registration. It deals with show results, the entering of show results. The office is the core of the ABKC. That's where your paperwork comes from. All your points are recorded. You know, that is the hub of the actual company itself. I don't have say in that. I don't even go to the office. I don't work in the office. I have no I have correspondence, yes, but I have no like power over the office. I don't have the influence in the office. I don't go in there. I don't know what goes on every day, day to day. That office is independent, self-running of me. And that is an office that deals with everything from registration. They have their own sets of rules. When we get into the judges side of things, which I do want to speak about later on, if we can bring that back up, is what's happening within our judges right now. But that is run independent of me. You have senior judges that run that. You have a senior judge panel that runs that. Choices as far as changes or changes, additions, all these things that go on within the ABKC, that's not me. There's a panel that vote on things that I've told you before many times that I've been outvoted on. I'll give you an example again, the Merle. You know,
Talk about it. Yeah,
like
I was going to bring up the
Merle. Like the Merle in our breed, I have my own feeling on the Merle in our breed. I feel like the Merle stems from a type of dog in history that doesn't have a lot of the same health issues that a lot of these other breeds carry within the Merle. I feel that the Merle within the American Bully, when we started the American Bullies, we started with Merles. So hence, when we created our stud books, those were the original dogs, regardless of their ancestry. When we created our stud books, those were the dogs that started our breed. So I feel like Merles they were there. I mean, it was true. They were Merle dogs registered. So I feel like they are a true part of our breed because they're part of our makeup of our stud book. So I have a feeling towards Merle in our community, and I'm an advocate for it. However, I've been outvoted every single time. My thoughts and my feelings on Merle have been outvoted, have been outweighed. Merle is a DQ in our breed. We don't accept single registrations on Merles in our breed anymore, or any of those type of things. You know, some of them were grandfathered in from the past, but nothing new can come in Merle. And we're only referencing the American Bully breed here. So my personal feeling on Merle has been shot down by internal staff, by internal voting. So that just shows you that I don't have the utmost power and the say-all in this. This is truly a democracy inside of voting, and I've lost many times. And it doesn't matter if you agree with me or don't agree with me to the public on the Merle. It doesn't even matter because I lost. So my feeling doesn't even matter because I have yet to win my argument with the Merle. So that kind of tells you like the power inside of Abkc. I'm a president. But a president is more of a face. It's not the president that I'm, sitting over here pushing the button and I can make all the calls. No, I'm more involved in PR and things like that. That's what I do. Because I've been in it so long, my face is very familiar with this breed. People know that I was involved in the creation of the breed, and they know that I've been with it every step of the way. So my position is more of a PR position. That's what I do. I don't make the final calls. I don't have say-so. The office runs independent of me. The judges panel runs independent of me. The reps run independent of me. Even Nationals as an event runs independent of me. I told you, Regina is the event coordinator. She runs that event, It's just almost every aspect of it, as far as the day-to-day, the operations, the decisions, the movement, everything, the training. I have no involvement in the training that's going on right now, which I like to get into. But so it's a bigger thing than me. I am just a face of PR, and that's really what I do in the company.
What was the deciding factor bringing Miyagi in? Because that's another big talk. And just to clarify, is Bullseye Blood a part of the Abkc?
Those are flag dogs, and they're flagged for certain reasons. There's other flag dogs, and when you have flag dogs, there is an internal policy with flag dogs, and flag dogs do not necessarily get registration. Those are dogs that are most likely not going to get registration for the reasons they were flagged. Now, there's criteria involved in what goes into accepting some offspring or of certain dogs, and it's based on DNA, it's based on the physical appearance, it's based on the pedigree makeup. There's a lot of variables that go into that. Miyagi was a tough thing that some people voted to make it allow some offspring and some didn't. Miyagi has a different history. If you look at the dog, I have my own feelings on Miyagi. I don't particularly like the dog. I don't think the dog was the greatest representation. And to be honest with you, I don't even feel that, my personal opinion is, I don't even feel like the original Miyagi is the same as the Miyagi later on. I think that there's two different dogs. The dog I've seen in California is definitely not the dog that I've seen in future generations. It's a different dog. I don't understand what's going on, but that's my personal thing. So no offense to the guy. Do whatever you do, But it's a flag dog, and that's what it is. And Miyagi wasn't originally flagged. There's a lot of misconception. He wasn't originally flagged because he was thought not to be a bully. He was originally flagged because he denied a DNA request. There were people that wanted to DNA challenge semen and offspring that they got, and he didn't want to do that, and that's why the dog was denied. So, and the office can give you the criteria and the breakdown. They have all that information. So, there was voting that went on, and there's people that voted on both sides of it. So, no, not all Miyagi. Most Miyagi stuff is denied. And the stuff that went the direction of the exotic is definitely not stuff that we want in our breed. They went a different direction. They took it a different direction. There's a lot of talk about exotic blood. Like Abkc allows exotic blood. It's a word that, no, it's not that we accept exotic blood. Dogs that went a direction of the exotic and have history.
There's still no true definition of what exotic is. Because
exactly.
I've talked to many people about that in the exotic world. There's still really no true definition of what exotic is.
No, there's no definition. That's the problem. Some people are calling dogs exotic that are American bullies. Some people are calling dogs exotic that are mixed breeds. Some people are calling exotic that are dogs that are of a breed that they cut the ears like a bulldog. So there's no definite line or definition of exotic. Exotic's a word that is still passed around. And I'm not disrespecting that community. I'm just stating the facts. There is no definite meaning to exotic. So yeah, you're going to have dogs that maybe somebody said this is exotic, or maybe they used it and took it that direction. But it doesn't necessarily mean that dog was an exotic. That could very well just be an American Bully that they threw the name on, or they decided to take generations and go a different direction and breed away from an American Bully into something that wasn't. So there's a lot of gray in that. It's like you can't just say exotic blood or exotic dog, and like you can't say that. I mean, it's not. There's just no definition to it, you know. And it's a very confusing topic because when you look at it, you're looking around like, well, why is that not an American Bully? What made that exotic? Or why is that not an English Bulldog with his ears cropped? Or, you know, I mean, I can see there's something going on there where some people are trying to get a certain look. Okay, maybe if that's the look you're going for, well, then y'all need to take that look, develop it, and do it for the right reasons. Like, you can make healthy dogs. Make a healthy dog. Don't make a deformed dog. Don't make a dog with obvious health issues and enlarged organs and all these crazy things that come with making some of these dogs, you know. Try to create it. But that's not an Abkc problem. It's not an Abkc thing to say, hey, we're going to create the exotic class. How can we create something that doesn't even have an existence yet, you know? Those are things that clubs need to do, breeders need to do. They need to figure out what they got, find the definition, do it for the right purpose, and then years later, once you got it, you got generations, then you petition a registry to accept your breed. So these aren't Abkc problems, you know? And that's not an Abkc situation at the moment, you know? And I don't know that it ever will be. And I don't know that they will ever get something together and come back. I don't know that. I don't even know that Abkc would even be interested in looking at it. I don't know. But as far as saying dogs are exotic blood, I mean, you can't use that term. It's just too broad of a term to even really mean anything.
Let's talk about the early beginnings of the Abkc.
Right.
You know, one of the topics a lot of people were talking about was Holiday.
Holiday, okay.
Talk about his involvement with the registry, and you know, a lot of people were discussing why didn't the registry really give him a mention as far as
We did give him a mention. Yeah, we did.
talk
We just
about
on
that.
Facebook.
Talk about that.
Well, let's back up then. We're going to talk about the history. Let's just talk about the history so people
Yeah.
understand the true history. The Abkc started in Virginia in 2005. It was a concept that I actually came up with. And I went to Lou Manipon because Lou's been a friend of mine for many years. Lou's been involved in every aspect of this American Bully, especially in Virginia from the beginning. If y'all don't know Lou Manipon's an Abkc judge. He's behind Bullypedia. Lou Manipon is Coastal Edge Kennels. He's been kind of a partner in Razor's Edge and in Abkc and all of these things for many years.
All right, we back.
All right, so anyway. So Lou's been involved in the very beginning. So when I came up with a concept, I didn't know how to do a registry. But at that time, the American Bully, we'd come up with a name through the Elite Edge Message Board and all these things. And we decided we had to have a registry. We had to have a way to give this breed some validity. Obviously, you know, we needed it. We needed a home, so we came up with a concept that we got to do this. So I didn't know anything about that. Lou's always been my technical guy. Lou just knows technical things. So whenever it's technical based, computer based, anything, Lou's my go-to guy. Always been my go-to guy, you know. So I went to Lou and I said, look, I got a concept. How can we do this? Lou said, I don't really know. He said, but I got a technical guy that I can bring in the name of Rome. And let's bring in Rome and see what he can do. I said, okay, we're going to bring in Rome. I'm bringing Cruz, who was my partner at the time. Me and Cruz were good partners for many years and took Razor's Edge to another level, which we can discuss him and my partnership again later on. So I brought in Cruz, and together we figured out how to do this Abkc and create this registry. And we did. We started in 2005. The first year, 2006, we ran it right here out of Virginia. And in all honesty, the only people that registered were EE. The Elite Edge were the only people that really supported it. We reached out to Richard Barajas and brought in Guideline. So Richard was the second person to come involved in Abkc with his own bloodline. You know, so we had Edge and Gotti, you know. And we ran out of Virginia for the first year in 2006, and it just never came off the ground. And the guy that he brought in really didn't do the back end stuff that he thought he was supposed to, that we expected him to do, and the data side of it. And it just didn't really work properly. You know, we got something going, but it just didn't really work internally like we thought it would. So at that point, we decided we're going to move this to California, bring in two other guys, Adrian and Alfredo, two brothers, you know. And we left the Virginia side, we brought in these guys. And then they ran it solely for like 2007 to 2008, 9, somewhere around there. And we left it in their hands, you know, and they ran it. I didn't run it, you know. And we started throwing shows and doing registration. Well, it went on that they had it for a year, and they started out doing registrations. And after a full year went by, they had stopped doing registrations. They were trying to create some new program. And in the process, they weren't doing registrations. So we went through hell with ABKC for a year where all these people were registering dogs, but they weren't getting their papers, you know. So again, we had to reevaluate that at the end, and we had to pull it away from them. I believe that was like 2008-ish, 9, I don't know. So then we brought in a guy named John Colden. John Colden got straight to the books at that point. Went behind the scenes and started just mass registrations, just made up for all the lost time. And again, these are times that I'm not a president of this company. I'm just a partner in the company, but I'm not the face of it. People don't realize that. They think I've been the face since day one, which isn't the case. You know, this was done for the community. I've been involved in it as far as the conceptual part of it, as far as the behind the scenes ownership and things like that part of it, but I wasn't the face and I wasn't the technical guy or any of that stuff. So prior to holidays, John Colden was mass putting out paperwork and catching us back up, and did a great job of catching us back up. But he was kind of a silent name that didn't get a lot of credit. Holiday ended up getting a lot of credit for the stuff that John Colden was doing, which, not to take from him, I'll get on him too, because he did his part very well. John Colden really did a lot of catching up and bringing the pedigrees back and getting it going. John Colden got burnt out because it's a lot of work. When I'm talking a lot of pedigrees, in the back end of a registry is not glorifying. It's data entry. It's entering names and dog names. So it's not a very rewarding position. Then we brought in Holiday. Holiday came in and he picked up where John left off, and got a lot. And he did a lot. I'm not trying to take anything from Holiday. He did a lot as far as getting pedigrees out. He picked up where John left off. I feel bad for John because he didn't get a lot of the limelight for what he actually did. But Holiday stepped in as president and kind of did a lot of PR stuff and became a face, and he did a very good job at what he did as far as being the PR. Great guy. And rest in peace, Holiday. You were a good man. He did a lot of great things for the community as far as his videography, and just a very good, positive guy. He did very well for the Abkc during the time he was there. Towards the end, same thing happened with Holiday. He got burnt out. He didn't want to handle it anymore. And at that point, we've been doing shows, we've been doing everything. So in 2010, I and the other people involved looked at it. And there were other people that came in, just so you understand. There was Memo, there was Michelle, there's a few other people that came in the 2009 era that were partner, and for James Cooper, and most of those were partner for a brief period of time. And just things just didn't work out with everybody, So brought it here in 2010 and knew nothing about it. Rebuilt it from scratch. And what we had learned is that none of the shows had been entered. A bunch of things that just didn't get done that should have been, done. So we were really behind the ball on a lot of things. So we took the first year of 2010 through 2011 just figuring out how to run this company, how to get it to run like a good company, how to really provide what it was supposed to have been meant for to the people, how to do the office side of everything, how to record everything back in and get all the points, and go through tons and tons of show records and figure out how to do all these things that weren't done prior. So it was a lot of work that was done to try to get it to be a good company, and it was. By the end of 2011, we had this thing down to a science here in Virginia, and it really turned into a great company. Holiday did his part. Yes, he was a great guy. And Holiday was taken care of behind the scenes from us. A lot of people throw things out there like, hey, it wasn't paid back, and that's a complete lie. 100% Holiday was paid in full and left on a good term with us as Abkc. And we did take care of Holiday. And we have all the legal proving of everything we've ever done. Holiday did leave on a good term, and he was taken care of. And we had not much. Holiday didn't do much with dogs after that. I think Holiday's personal world changed, and a lot of things happened in his world, from family issues to physical things. I think he was in a bad accident. And we helped him out during that time when he was. We actually donated money to Holiday. It's something a lot of people don't realize that we did. We do a lot of things behind the scenes that we don't ask for the credit for. We do donate to a lot of different things. We do help a lot of people, and there's a lot of people out there that I know that are watching this in their community that know that we've helped them. People's houses that are burned down, we've donated money to all kinds of situations. In the floods in Louisiana, people that we donated, we always help. We helped Holiday at the time. When Holiday did pass away, we did a big thing. I don't know how people didn't see it. It was all over the Abkc Facebook. We did a tribute to him and things like that. So we did. Anybody out there saying we didn't, they're lying. The facts are out there. Again, like I said, this interview today, fact-based interview. Fact is, yes, we did. We gave him respect. We took care of Holiday. We love Holiday. We love what he did for the company. Rest in peace, Holiday. Much respect to your family. You know, we've always had a lot of love. And in this organization, you're going to find in the dog world, not everybody gets along all the time. Not everybody sees eye to eye all the time. People do go different directions. I mean, that happens. It happens in business. It happens in life. It is what it is. But the respect for Holiday is always there, always going to be there. You know.
Let's talk about the early beginnings of putting the standards together with the Abkc. Who was a part of that process in putting the standards together for the Abkc?
The original standard for the American Bully was written by me and Lou Manipon. Me and Lou, what we did is we took the UKC.
Before you answer that, because the reason I brought that up, because you know John Easley said he was a part of putting the original standards together.
Okay, we'll touch on all that.
Yeah, so I before you start talking, I just want to.
No,
yeah.
okay. The original standard, I didn't even know John. John became part of the Abkc later. The original standard was written in 2005. And it actually happened here at this house. It was me and Lou. We sat down, and we were talking about Razor Edge and got in, going over how to write the standard. And I pulled out the UKC standard from 92 or something from the American Pit Bull Terrier. And I said, look, you know, this is the era of when I was showing dogs and when there was a lot of mass was accepted in the dog, when the head of the breed was pointed. It was the most pointed part of the dog's anatomy back then. So there's a lot of things about that standard. So I said, let's take elements of this. This is really where the core of our ideas and our ideals came from. So let's base off of some of these things, but add to it because we are breeding a more massive dog. If a lot of people, just to back up, forget that we made this breed by breeding for substance, by breeding for mass. If you check all the old promotion, everything we ever did was always based on mass. We would use terms like putting the bull back in terrier or heavy bone structure or, you know, like big head. I mean, we've always used that terminology. Like this whole breed was created by the terminology of adding mass and substance, and we've always pushed the boundaries of substance on these dogs. And that's why we have the American Bully, and that's what all the real breeders, original breeders, were breeding for, of substance and mass. And we were always pushing these things. So when we took that version of a standard and we said let's do that, but with allotting for the fact that we've gone a lot further with mass and add some of that terminology into it, you know. So we wrote the original standard that way. Me and Lou. That standard stayed that way all the way up until 2014 or 15. It never changed. So all these people talking about we change our standard all the time, and it's a lie. These are the facts. We started with one original standard. The only thing we added later on were the varieties. When we brought in the pocket. First we brought in the pocket in the Extreme and the XL. And then later on we added the Classic. But the standard didn't change. Just the addition of the varieties and the terminology around the varieties was added. In 2014 or 15, we decided to revise that standard. And when that standard was revised, the people that brought in were Rolando Mata, me, James Cooper, and believe it or not, Fernando. Fernando is a guy that has a lot of things to say, a very opinionated guy. However, he's very knowledgeable in what he did, and he brought in some very good ideas. His idea was to eliminate him and Rolando actually was ideal to roll the Extreme into the standard. Both of their mentality was, why should we have an Extreme variety that's only being used for flawed dogs when really this is an Extreme breed? There's no reason that if the dog carries mass amounts of bone and substance, as long as it's balanced, that it shouldn't be considered XL standard or pocket, because that's what the breed is. This is a massive breed. So their philosophy was, why shouldn't we just roll that into those varieties, with the exception of Classic, you know, and eliminate that and make the adjustment in the standard that dogs are not to be penalized for carrying heavy bone, because that's what it's supposed to be as long as it's a balanced breed. So that was their addition. So between the four of us, we rewrote the standard, and really all we did was provide more outline to the standard, more description to the standard. A lot of the things that we added more flaws to the breed, more DQs to the breed. Back then we only had one DQ. The only DQ then was human aggression. We've added more DQs. So these people saying that we removed DQs and made them, no, it's ridiculous. We actually added more DQs. We actually added more flaws. We actually made the standard more descriptive. We actually tightened the guidelines around the breed. so that it was a stricter standard. And that was done, I can't give you the exact date, 14, 15, somewhere in that range, was the only revision of the standard, and the 4 of us did it. And that's it. Those are the only time the standard was written. No offense to John Easterly. You know, he was an Abkc judge for many years. He was a great asset to the Elite Edge, did a lot of good things for the Elite Edge. You know, as an advocate for the breed, did his part as an advocate for the breed. You don't hear me talking negative about him. You don't hear me talking negative about anybody. But you don't hear me saying anything negative about him. I mean, you know, a lot of people want recognition, and that's great. A lot of people should stand up and get your recognition. I can't sit here and name every single person that's done everything every day. It's an impossibility. We are built by a community of people, not Dave Wilson or anything like that. A community of people. So I can't possibly get into, you know, saying everybody's name for every situation. So he did a great asset. He was a great asset for the Elite Edge. He did great for us. Great asset for the breed. You're definitely an advocate for the breed. You definitely were an Abkc judge for a period of time. I'm not going to give you credit for things that you didn't do, because you didn't do it, and you know, it's not disrespectful. It's just facts.
Yeah, because I was going to ask, because you know, one of the things people talked about, why was he not part of the Midwest Pioneers?
Because it was a Midwest breeders. See, when we went to the Midwest, this was about this. If you read did you read what the trophy said? Foundation. It's a foundation award. We were basing that award on foundation breeders, people that made an impact in the early stages of the Midwest. There's many Midwest breeders, many that came later on, but we're talking the foundation guys, the guys that were there on the front line at the very beginning, that were breeding dogs that those particular from the Midwest, that those particular dogs and their creations set a foundation for the breed in the Midwest. And unfortunately, that wasn't really what he was. He did other things, you know, and the things that I've already mentioned and gave credit to. So I'm not taking credit away. It was a foundation breeder award. And that's a lot of what we did. When we came to Chicago, we wanted to show respect. It bothers me that some people in Chicago might think like, who cares who wasn't let in? Those things don't even matter. What matters is what we came there to do. We came to show respect to Chicago. And we showed respect to Chicago. And we gave respect to the Midwest and those Midwest breeders. 7 breeders that were there that day.
Machiavelli plays Jesse Sponge to the ring, please. Winning. Hello. All right, and then we need the lounge in the ring. That would be Midwest Monsters and Master P. Kennels in the ring. I know you guys like to stand over here because y'all like to be cool. I'm gonna ask y'all to step in the middle of the ring. Y'all step right over there. Jay Machiavelli, still looking fresh after all the years. Are you 62 looking like Denzel? Manny over here, still small. He don't want to problem. Here we go. We got Layla, my man Hector Rodriguez. For y'all that don't know, Radio Zone. You broke it up for me to bully the kid and all that stuff. All y'all step in the center of the ring so we get a picture of y'all under the banner. Alright. So we need a loud, which is Master P. Kennels, as well as Midwest Monsters.
Did I miss anybody? Congratulations, guys. Thank you.
Alright. We got an award that we're going to acknowledge them.
Is Bobby here?
I don't know. I haven't seen her.
Congratulations, big dog. AAO Kennels in the building. We don't know if Bobby's here, but AAO, shout out to Chris and Bobby when they're not. They're coming. For a long time, but he's also contributed a lot to the breeding program. One of his big ones that happened was pancakes. Y'all may not remember that many years ago, 2009, Abkc National San Bernardino. Jay Machiavelli, step forward, please. You all like to call it just for fun. There we go. Right there, we got 12 here, man. We appreciate that.
KJ, man.
It's an
honor, man. Thank you. Thank you for your services, J-Mac.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for everybody in the community following my program all these years. I really appreciate that. Thanks to Abkc and all you guys who are working.
big dog.
Thank you.
So give him the microphone. He's going to talk.
No,
No.
Go ahead.
Jay doesn't hate that mic. He don't want that mic.
Thank you.
I used to go on their website every day. They were the only ones in the city that I knew that had books. Seriously, I used to go on their website every day. Their website was way ahead of what we have going on now. So I really want to tell you, if it wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't be where we are. Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Everybody, welcome to the Abkc Nationals 2017. Oh man, I'm not good with words, but I hope everybody has a good time, enjoys themselves. And the people who don't know about bullies, it's time for everybody to learn about the bully lifestyle and see what it's really about. You know? Much love to everybody who's here. Outlaw Kennels.
Outlaw Kennels, man.
Thanks, man.
Respect, big dog.
Congratulations, brother.
Thanks.
Thank you for your work.
Years and years ago. Today decided to present you with this.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Respect, big dog.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah. Shout out to the Abkc. Good looking on the award. I appreciate it. Check us out at Killinois Kennels. You can check us out on YouTube. You check us out on killinois.com.
Shout out to the Abkc for hooking us up on this award. We really, really appreciate it. Means a lot, and that's about it, man. Thanks for having us. When I first saw American Bully, about 2003.
You good, you good, you good.
Find out from these boys from Clinton, Iowa. Took me a while to get with him, so 2010, 2011, I met him with Hector Rodriguez. It was a done deal. Over the last 14 years, we made a lot of moves in the music industry, the MMA, being the first killer to go to the UFC lights. Like a family, man. It's more than a family, man. He was my brother, my mentor, man. And that's right, man. And we just learned, man. Forever. They were great historic breeders in this breed from the very beginning. So give a big round of applause for Master P. Kennels Singing.
You know what? I can't believe you did that to me.
Yeah, it's your time.
Wow, that brought tears to my eyes. So I want to just say thank you on behalf of my husband,
Midwest Monsters in the lounge, baby.
Hello, everyone. My name is Derek Martin of the exclusive Bully Tribe and the Lounge, and I am here to introduce one of this year's honorees for the Foundation Award presentation by Dave Wilson and the Abkc. He has never taken a family vacation. In 20 years of marriage, he and his wife have never celebrated their anniversary with a 2-week vacation around the world. He has mentored countless breeders, colleagues, and friends. His executive mind of the American Bully is well known all around the world, a passion he holds with high regards. Simply put, this has been his life's work with that famous juice line. And if you're lucky, you'll get the chance to hear him yell, "Midwest Monsters, baby," in that patented voice. Not the limelight kind of guy, never hidden, but back, re-energized with a well-thought-out format. He has put together a combination of old members with new ones, sprinkled with a few here and there, keeping the circle small but tight. As he would say, produce the best and let the dogs do the talking. His unwavering vision has made him timeless. We thank you for the blueprint that you have laid down for us. He would say, have a vision, no shortcuts, work hard. If you don't know, ask. Shut the fuck up and listen. And execute, execute, execute. So in recognition of your life's work, for your contribution to the Foundation of the Midwest, I give you this year's recipient of the Foundation Award, Kevin Big Kev Bedford.
We're here now. I was talking to some OGs yesterday. We was kicking it on Terrell, J-Mac, and we were saying, we can't believe we came this far. 10 years from now, we wouldn't even got a foot in neighborhood. So it's been a lot of work with these dogs, and we brought it from nothing to something. And I want to give a shout out to my crew. I got family. My crew is my last family. They stood behind me. When I got tired, they said, come on, man, we got to keep going. So now, 20 years later, we still rolling, and we're going to keep on rolling. Big shout out to Dave, the organization is doing that thing. And I want to shout out to all the bully people all around. This is a family, everybody, a bully family. And I thank you for this award.
Once again, everybody, take a look right here. UC1, the latest green happening today. This is what put the Midwest on the map. These are the true organic foundation leaders from the Midwest.
What's up, man? What's up, man? Oh, man, how I feel, big dog?
Hey, man, this feels great, brother. It feels great. It's been a long journey, but we here now. And we going to keep it going. Yeah.
Bad bullies, man.
We going to keep it going, brother.
Keep it going.
Man, I was running trying to get here, baby. I'm tired. Woo. Thank you, brother.
Boy, I was like, you on that color people time, boy.
Show.
Yeah, what's up, man? Some of the loud dogs up in the house. Loud blood up in the house.
All right, once again, we honor our top 10 dogs. We got number 1 dog that should be ready to come in. And we're going to start with the shorty bull. Grand champion, Thompson.
Midwest Monsters. Come on, Big Kev is, he's historic, man. He put the Midwest on the map for many things. Manny and Outlaw. Manny goes way back, the Midwest. Lalo and those guys. Them guys were there from day one. J-Mac, Machiavelli Pitts. Machiavelli's been here like I mean, he's been here from, I can't even tell you. Killer Noise. I mean, Killer Noise was one of the early kennels that laid it down, you know. Master P kennels. I mean, they were like personal friends and personal favorites of mine. I mean, AAO, which unfortunately, you know, they weren't there. We did get a representative later on, but these are guys that laid it down. So, like, we gave a lot of respect to the foundation guys. And these are guys that, you know, people sometimes think like Dave thinks like he's the only breeder. I am not the only breeder in this American Bully breed. Never do I claim to have been that. Those guys, we were in their home. We were in their backyard. So, of course, we were going to show respect to those guys. Most of what you see in the Midwest and what went on later is because of the hard work that those guys put in. And those guys deserve what they got. They are foundation breeders. That was a foundation breeder award for the Midwest. And, you know, maybe we missed some. I don't know, you know, but those were the guys that I've been here from the beginning. Those are the guys that I know for a fact, you know, laid it down for the Midwest. So much respect to them guys. And, you know, and unfortunately, you know, some people weren't that. And it's a fact. I mean, it's not hate. It's just facts.
Now we're gonna talk about former partner Cruz, correct?
Cruz, yes.
Correct. Yes. Talk about your relationship with him as far as Razor's Edge and putting together the Abkc.
Look,
because a lot of people, you know, I'm quite sure you've heard it. You know, you two are falling out. You're banned from Southern California. Just talk about that.
Okay, well, I'm not banned from Southern California. And we had an event in San Francisco, which was California, which me and him did have, you know, spoke. Look, I don't take anything away from anybody. Everybody had their part. Cruz was an essential person in Razor's Edge, Elite Edge, Abkc, the American Bully, Atomic Dog Magazine, the West Coast. You can't take nothing from that man for what he did. That man did his part in so many different ways. And a lot of people, because me and him, you know what? We have misunderstandings. But you know what? It's a guy that his family has always been my family. And he knows deep down inside, if he has a real situation, I would be there. His family needed something, I would be there. There's a love that is a family love that's deeper than the other things, you know, regardless of whatever went down, you know, whatever it is, I don't hold a grudge or anything. And some things I even feel, you know, regret for myself, you know. But early on, Razor's Edge was an East Coast dominant thing. Until I linked up with him, we had a lot of West Coast presence in the UKC world. But in American Bully, he was a central person. Cruz was, he made his name on the West Coast, man. I mean, he did. A lot of people don't realize he owned 21 Blackjack. He's the one that got, what's the name, Ed Shepherd started, you know? He's the one that sold him 21 Blackjack. He didn't produce him, but he sold it. Cruz was essential in linking the West and the East Coast together. He's the first to cross Cairo with the Monster G stuff out there, you know, and combine those two worlds. He was essential in linking East and West Coast together. It's like when me and him combined together, we were a force to be reckoned with, because now we had this cross-continental connection, you know, and cross-country connection. Yeah. It turned into cross-continental later on, but yeah, cross-country connection, you know. So he was essential in that. As far as the Elite Edge, I mean, he was one of the main guys. The Elite Edge in the beginning was me, him, and Danny Gaddis. It was me, Cruz, Danny Gaddis. We started the Elite Edge, the three of us, you know. And he was essential in that. And as far as Razor's Edge, I mean, shoot, man, to be honest with you, during the Cairo and those days here was when I was doing my own thing, you know, and a few generations after. But then I had a gap in a period of time, and it wasn't until me and him linked up that kind of like a rebirth of Razor's Edge, you know. And the stuff we did together was kind of like the rebirth of Razor's Edge. And that is the Razor's Edge American Bully. When you see Razor's Edge kennels, when we jumped into the American Bully breed and the American Bully world, that was a combined effort. That was me and Cruz together. That was my partner at that particular time, you know. And yeah, he had he produced some of the baddest dogs ever. I mean, some of the things that came out of the Bow Wow camp out there are phenomenal, man. And back and forth. I mean, you know, we did a lot of things. The Elite Edge, I mean, like I said, he was, you know, me, him, and Danny were the main three that started that whole group. Atomic Dog Magazine. He's the one that pushed me to, like, let's do this. You know, let's get in this, you know. Double S Kennels. Like those guys, Memo, Boom, White. You know, those guys started Atomic Dog. He's who brought them in, you know. A lot of guys forget, like, who brought them into this game. Like, I remember Cruz came to me one day and said, look, I got these guys over here in Compton that, you know, they want to get involved. They're trying to do stuff. And the door's not really opening for them. So he brought me over there. I met those guys, you know. Brought them in immediately. excellent guys. You know, Double S brought so much to the table. You know, during that time, Memo, Big White, and Boom, them guys, their camp. I mean, they came in the Elite Edge. They came in everything. Man, we took off after that. I think Boom was the one that had the concept for Atomic Dog magazine, you know, and they wanted to feature Cairo in the first issue, and I gave pictures. We did a little thing, and you know, they tried to put it together in a couple of issues, and it didn't really. And so they looked to buy in, and Cruz came and said, "You want to buy into this?" And I said, "Yeah." So me and Cruz bought in, and then Herb and Cali came into it, you know, and everybody knows what Atomic Dog was, man. Atomic Dog was, man, that put this breed on the map, man.
Put it on the map.
Put it on the map, man. Atomic Dog did things that nobody's ever seen, and we were all part of that, all of us. I mean, that was me, Cruz, Memo, Boom, Big White, Herb, Cali. I mean, we were the owners behind it. We all brought something to the table for it. I mean, we were a good team, and then, you know, we brought in writers like Bully the Kid and photographers like James Alba, and, you know, I mean, so it was a powerhouse. I mean, Cruz was essential in that. I mean, you know, and he brought features to that, the doggy style thing with the, you know, like the blow jeans. I mean, that was my partner in blow jeans, and blow jeans was truly his concept, you know. I mean, I put my touch on it, but that was his concept, you know. He was essential in this, man. I mean, the dude did a lot. I mean, if it wasn't for my partnership with him, to be quite honest with you, I don't think Razor's Edge and American Bully would have gone this far. I don't think Atomic Dog would have ever happened. You know, the Elite Edge would have not have done what it did. I mean, there's so many elements that my partnership with him enabled so many things to grow. So, I mean, all respect to the man. The man's, I mean, he did his part, man. He deserves his respect. I mean, regardless of where we are today, it doesn't change history, you know. I mean, he made his mark on history, and he made his mark on Razor's Edge. He made his mark on Elite Edge. He made his mark on American Bully. He made his mark with Atomic Dog. He made his mark on the Abkc, Blow Jeans. I mean, he put the West Coast on the map for so many things. I mean, LA should be proud that y'all got a guy like that put y'all on the map out there too. I mean, the man did his thing. I mean, and he was a great asset to Abkc, a great asset to Razor's Edge. I mean, good. I can't even tell you, man. Without my partnership with him, I mean, I don't think Razor's Edge and American Bully, we would even got that far, you know.